Hello and welcome to Your Sparkly Brand. We're here to inspire and empower entrepreneurs just like you. This podcast is all about delivering no fluff, high value content that helps you to grow your business. It doesn't matter if you have no budget and you're still DIYing everything on your own. We're giving you the tips, tools, and strategies that you need to build your sparkly empire. I'm Megan Gersh, your branding and website expert, and I'm here with my co-host, the copywriting queen, Lauren Tassi. Hey, Lauren, how are you?
Hi, Megan. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
What was your sparkly moment this week?
I actually had a client that I've worked with before come back to me for another project. So that's super exciting. We're going to be doing another branding project together for a second business that he is starting. So I'm very excited about that.
Yay. That's awesome. That, it's like a little bit of like, oh yeah, I am good at what I do if they're coming back.
Yeah, exactly. What about you?
So I sort of like set a challenge for myself this week to show up for all the coaching calls in the program I'm in right now. There's like one every day. Some days there's multiple. And so far I've been doing it. And I don't know if it's like the momentum of that or just like being a little extra busy. Like I feel like I'm getting more done in general, just sort of really digging in. So that's making me feel good and, proud of myself for doing that.
Awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
So what are we chatting about today?
Today, we are talking about signature offers. So this is I help my clients with this. I know you and I do it for our own businesses. So it's just something we wanted to talk about. I put together like a formula that I follow that seems to be sort of the way to go. Everyone kind of has their own different words and their own different language for it. One of the calls I was on yesterday, somebody was talking about like, is it USP or VSP or like, and just like, they're like, all these copywriters just make up these words. And I'm like, it all means the same thing. It doesn't like matter what the word is. So don't get hung up on any of that. If we use some words that maybe you're not familiar with, the concepts are all the same. So let's talk about what is a signature offer. And this is like your unique method, process, your specialty of working with clients to deliver amazing results. And this formula works for service-based businesses, like a copywriter and a designer like you and me. And it also works for coaches and course creators. So any service type of industry, you can have your signature offer. You can follow these steps we have outlined. And it's the thing you do best. It's like your special sauce. And it's a way to like package it up and put it together and sell it to the world. And it's all about making it irresistible to your ideal client.
So let's talk a bit about why you need one of these. So essentially, when you sell one thing, that helps you to focus on that one singular thing instead of getting pulled around by 500 different things. It also helps to position you as the expert in that one thing. This is going to help to make your life and your business so much easier. You can always kind of take your offer and tweak it as you go. I know I certainly have. I'm sure you have too, but you can take what's working and kind of lean into that as you kind of work with clients and see, like if they ask for certain things, you can always add things into it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to, and it also doesn't have to be the only thing you do or it's just sort of like your headline, your main event, what people come to you for, and then everything else can kind of be like a bridge off of that. All right, so let's walk through some steps to creating your signature offer. And the first one, it's like the first step for anything in business, right? Determine your USP, your VSP. What makes you different than what other people in your industry are doing? It's how are you different, right? For me, it's all about like the way I talk and my brand voice. And I can really like lean into the way one client's going to speak versus the way another client's going to speak. And I can speak to their audience in their language. If you've been in business for a while, you've probably already done a lot of this work. Hopefully you have, but if you haven't, it's also like a great time to revisit this stuff. I feel like you can't like get clear on it too much, really. And as you refresh it, it's going to just give you more vision for your business.
So the other thing that we want to talk about is always, and I feel like we always go back to this, but it's all about knowing your customer. So do a survey, interview people, don't assume what they need or they don't need, get really clear on what it is they're asking for in their business or where they're struggling. Prime question to ask them is, what's the number one thing that you're struggling with right now? Like, how can I best help you as a service provider? And then pay attention to like how, things that keep coming up for that specific person, like the phrases that they use, the problems that they are describing, and like how they are articulating those problems.
Yeah. And so after you sort of examine your business and your vision, and you then look at what your customer wants and what they need, you want to look at what is your process? Like, what do you do review start to finish with a client. If you have like standard operating procedures, if you have, anything in place, that's a great time to look at that. But also like consider like maybe before they sign the contract or after they sign the contract, like really what's like the whole thing that you can then package together and do it repeatably, right? Maybe it's through a course. Maybe you can teach this process of, how to find your brand voice and write great headlines or whatever it is into a course. Or maybe that's a one-on-one service that somebody can work with you and it's your, it's the $1 million headline package or something like that. It's just being able to sort of nail down what you're good at and what your process is, and then do it over and over again. So once you have this, you want to outline the details of your service and your deliverables or your online course. So it's really just sit down, make a start to finish, a 1, 2, 3, and go from there to create your content.
So once you have your offer in place and you're ready to go start testing it, you need a name for your offer. So you need to consider who your ideal client is. You want to also consider how can you make this offer name a bit exciting or enticing for that person. Think about how you want somebody to feel after they have worked with you on this offer. Think about like what ultimately they will be getting like through this process. So maybe you want them to feel empowered or excited, or, think about like those power words that you can use as descriptors for your actual offer, as well as the result that, somebody might be getting after they work through this.
Yeah. And another thing to consider is that your signature offer is not just your course or your, website design. It's the whole package. And the package includes bonuses. It includes these other elements that make it irresistible versus just like, here's the thing and you buy it. So bonuses are the next thing we want to talk about. And by bonus, I mean something that adds value, right? How can you make your offer even more appealing? And again, like for courses, bonuses are an obvious like, oh, here's a little mini course, here's a download, that kind of thing. But there's so many other ways to do it. One of them is like quick delivery, right? Maybe this is, if you see like VIP days and that kind of thing, that's a great example of like, my signature offer is this, and you book in your VIP day and, 3 days later, all your copy for your website's done or whatever the thing is. Another thing could be like one-on-one access to you, like, oh, and then you get, Voxer, or you get like, I'll respond to you within 24 hours in my inbox if you have any questions. Just sort of really like making it more than just like, oh, here, I wrote your website, good luck with it. It's, I always offer to, and this isn't even something that's like in a contract or part of the offer, but I'm always like, oh yeah, once it's up, send it to me. I'll make sure there's no copy and pasted typos or anything. Just really continuing to add value and, own what you're selling.
Absolutely. And I think another piece of this too is removing the risk for the buyer. So, making sure that, you are including revisions, or like you said, like offering to look over the page for them, amazing testimonials that essentially sell the product in a way that like other people have used this and had success with it. And so you can too. Another thing to kind of think about too is this might not be the right thing for every single offer, but a money back guarantee is always an option. It basically just guarantees that they will have success with it. And, if they're not happy with it, that they can get a refund.
Yeah. A great way to think about that too is like when you're on a discovery call with a client, or like, what are the questions that people ask a lot? Like I always get like, how many revisions? How does it work? What if we don't like it? And that's where like including revisions really sort of answers that before it's a question for them, before it's a problem. They go, oh yeah, well, if we get revisions, then how is it not going to turn out great? All right. So then the next step, of course, is pricing. And that's kind of why we've left this towards the end, is because doing all that work first is important. And you always remember, like, your pricing isn't set in stone. So don't get stuck on the step. Part of an offer is testing and putting your pricing out there. And maybe it's too much, maybe it's too little, but don't get hung up on how much you're charging. Keep in mind that the value you provide your client, not just the amount of hours worked. I think that we all kind of get stuck on that sometimes. It's like, oh, well, this isn't that much copy, or this isn't that big of a project. But sometimes that's the thing that's really going to like make them tons of money and like take their business to another level. So that is valuable to them and it makes them see the value in it. And if you want more on pricing for products and services, check out episode 33. We did like a whole episode on the psychology of pricing your products and services.
Yeah. And then once your offer is ready to go, it's time to put it out into the world, which is the funnest part. So start talking about it everywhere you can, on social media, in your email list. If you do text message marketing, like everywhere that you have contacts, make sure that you are putting that offer out in front of them.
And another important step is don't give up. Anytime you're launching anything, you're putting something new out there, you want to be testing it. And part of the process is relaunching it and continuing to talk about it and going, oh, here's this. And I decided to add this. And here's how it works now. And just if you hear nothing, if nothing's happening, test it, but keep talking. Don't give up. It can take a while for people to feel comfortable to buy something from you. So, just continuing to put offers in front of people is how you grow your business and how you make more money.
Absolutely. I feel like that is honestly a kind of core value of all entrepreneurs anyway. So we just need to keep going and keep trying.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for today. We hope you are inspired to create or optimize your signature offer. So why don't you go take some time right now and brainstorm and start working on it? And thank you so much for listening. Until next time, stay sparkly.